everyone, welcome to another episode of Reaper Golf Videos, aka the Century Countess. Today we are, we're starting our day. We just got dressed, semi-dressed. We're probably going to change into a different top because it does look like it may be a chilly day, but I'm going to wait. I'm waiting for a delivery, and then I'm going to go meet with my friend Chunky today. But I thought I'd update you on the birthday dress. As you guys know, we've been doing a new series. I guess you could call it a series. Known as the birthday dress. And we're going to be doing a nice little Rococo theme for our birthday. And I'm going with my iconic colors, black and pink. Yeah, strange for some, yet, it's pastel. There's a little bit of pastel in my golf aesthetic, and I've chosen pink. And as you guys know, that's going to be the theme for the Circus Slam, black and pink stripes. So, and it's going to be, haunted theme. But anyway, enough about that. We spent 3 days, seam ripping, pulling, removing, plucking some very nasty, and we're talking about cheap. It did not look like this in the beginning. It was more prettier. In fact, the trim that we replaced it with is like a black version of that silver trim. So you're going to kind of see. So here's the trim that we replaced. So this is the old trim. What remains of it, and it's in horrible condition because it's that cheap to tear off. But then we found, I believe it's a knitted version. It does not have any stretch, which is good because the last time I've tried stretch trim, it did not go well. It turned out ugly. It wanted to kind of ruffle when it did not need it to ruffle. So I'm glad that we found something that is not a stretch, that is more of a knitted. So this is what we're using, this lovely black. And this is what the silver trim looked like before. It was very similar to this design. But since it's a metallic thread trim, it easily just, as you just saw, it just falls apart. It just falls apart. Once you add that trim, it has to stay there because once you remove it, it falls apart. So it's like a one-time use thing. And my coffee creamer did not fully set in this coffee. Oh. Well, we gotta drink it anyway because it's all that we have. So let me tell you the story. So we, like I said, it was 2-3 days of unplucking, pulling, snipping, and then just literally the little threads that stick out, we just pull them out every now and then, being very careful because for some reason, these dresses, I've noticed, they could be hiding secrets. And one of the secrets that I discovered was when I was removing the trim, whoever, rush jobbed this dress, for some reason, when they were attaching the cuff to the sleeve, I guess they were also attaching the trim at the same time. That's the best way to describe it. I know it sounds like it doesn't make any sense because when I trimmed it, I noticed that there was this thread, and I thought, okay, why is this there? And it was conjoined with the cuff. So I guess they decided they found a gap and they tried to be sneaky about it. And because I removed that thread just to finally sever that bit of silver trim, the thread loosened that section of the cuff. So I had to completely, very carefully, tiny gather that section and just quickly run it through with a needle and thread. And then, let me see. Speaking of which, I have something to show you guys, but before I do, I just need to trim a little bit of the section off We may be adding a little extra trim to it. I do not know yet. But here it is now. So this is the sleeve with the new trim, and I really like it. It's like I said, it's my favorite shade of pink, a pastel pink, and this gothic-y black trim really makes it pop. It just gives it that effect. And then we are going to be adding the other cuff of the second dress to this, so there's like a layer effect. So it's going to be like this beautiful layer effect. Now, we got paid. Thank goodness we got paid, because we needed to, because we need groceries. Oh, alright. We grabbed, and let me see, where's our list? There's our list right behind here. Alright, so we have, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 items on our need to grab list, and we may be adding more. So, and then some of these we've already grabbed, but we haven't fully marked them out because they may be unfinished. And let's see, we already check marked the trim and stuff, but we may be getting more trim anyway. Alright. And we also, the stockings, the little sock bits. For some reason, there were some difficulties with those stockings. Those stockings, like, kept saying it was out for delivery. Then they kept rescheduling, saying, unable to deliver today because item did not arrive at this specific facility at the right time. Then it said it was out for delivery again, and then once again, repeat. Said it did not arrive at Pacific Facility. Well, how can it not arrive at Pacific Facility when it says it's out for delivery? Obviously, my place is not a facility. In all honesty, my place should be a mental asylum. Alright. So, we decided, okay, this is the third time this has happened. It happened 3 times. We canceled, and guess what? Within seconds, I was refunded. So obviously something was going on, and I guess, maybe they did not, I don't know. I'm going to say they thought they had the item, they didn't have the item, and instead of being like, we're sorry, we're going to refund you, they just decided to play the, I don't know. I'm jumping into assumptions. But either way, I'm glad that the stockings did not show up, because now that we changed the theme a little bit, we're going with black stockings instead of pink, because it would have been too much pink. Our shoes should be here sometime next week. Fingers crossed that they're perfect. So far they are. It looks like they're my size. They're from the 80s, so they have that kind of neutral classic look that can easily be made into historical or whatever era that I want. Very hard to find these days, so I'm glad that I found these, and I hope I don't scuff them because they look really good. And the person said that they were from a bridal shop. So, bridal quality, which is good. Right, now back to our list. Second dress, it will be here tomorrow. Pocket hoops, it will be here tomorrow. New jewelry, it will be here tomorrow. Hair ornaments, it will be here tomorrow. Bracelets, speaking of bracelets, this is one of the examples. So the necklace set comes with a bracelet, but we need a second bracelet for our other wrist, so we're looking into another bracelet. So this is not ready to mark. Pink and black fabric dye, we got that. Lashes, we have not got that. Fabric for a new petticoat or back piece. We're holding off on that to see what we can get from the second dress. Stockings. I just mentioned the stockings. Corset, we still haven't got the corset. Bias tape, we need the bias tape because the bias tape will help us alter the pocket hoops, because the pocket hoops is designed, for some reason, pocket hoops, they don't come plus size. Hoop skirts and panniers, they can't, they easily can be altered, but for some reason pocket hoops, they say it's one size, but one size fits all is not one size fits all. It's one size fits petite and medium. So we are going to trim the strap and just basically replace it with a new strap. Alright, what else? See, that's it for our list. The one thing we forgot to put on our list that we did buy was lace. And, so we did buy lace because, the border of the collar of the dress had some white lace on it. And as you saw, there was some cuff lace. We decided we are going to not keep the white lace. We're going to cut the white lace off from the cuff. As you see, the white lace is gone. If you saw the before, hold on, let me trim this excess off. It's going to irritate me. If you saw the before pictures in the first episode, you would have seen that there was some white lace a little bit around the collar and obviously underneath the cuff of the sleeve. We've cut that off, and I'm glad I did, because let me show it to you. If I still have it, let me show it to you. Same lace, same brand of lace from my bridesmaid dress. Well, not bridesmaid, maid of honor dress that I wore at my drag sister's wedding. Like I said, this came from the same company that did my dress, and as you guys know, I did buy I didn't buy it, my drag sister did. There was 2 dresses bought, and as you saw, they were Frankensteined into one dress. And it had this exact same lace, and I hated that lace, but there was a deadline, there was no time to replace that lace. We had to work with it, and let's just say, working with this type of fabric, I give kudos to people who can, because I cannot stand stretch lace, and this lace it stretches. It's pretty, but it's just, I cannot work with it. I've tried working with it. It does not agree with me. It's like the only way I have to work with it is if I have an idea of a design, and then I just lay it onto the pattern and then sew it on, then trim it off, and then hope to goodness that the lace stays secure to where I stitched it. And so it's like, yeah, that's why I prefer solid lace that looks like this, but it's not stretchy, because it agrees better. It agrees better. Plus, it does not kill your needles. These kill your needles. For some reason, stretch kills your needles. And then I don't know if you guys have ever noticed it, if ever you played with stretchy lace. But notice that there's kind of like a faint, like, gooey residue. I don't know, because there's always, like, I always feel like there's something on my hands after I touch this material. I mean, and even when I washed it, because, I've washed this exact same lace several times, and I've noticed before and after there's still that strange residue. Alright, now here is a front piece of the skirt. Still in condition, as you can see, still in condition since I've, you saw me seam rip this off, and I told you how I tried to maintain the gathered bit so I didn't have to do too much work when I reassembled it. But as you can see, I've already added the new trim. Now this is before I cut the black trim off, so there is pigment of silver, which is fine. It gives it a nice little glint. And, just a hint of a sparkle, which is fine. It's not too painful to look at, but I had already done all this work. And then I discovered, hey, this metallic trim is easy, just seam rip it off. But I had already done this, and I'm like, I'm not going to go seam rip all this off, because like I said, once you put trim like this on, it falls apart, it starts to fail on you when you take it off. So I do not want to remove this, because, yeah, it's stronger, but it's also more sensitive. Well, not more sensitive, just as sensitive. So we're not going to risk it. We're not going to risk all this work and all, the money that we already bought for this trim. We have to get more trim, by the way, because we are out. And we still got a lot of black trimming we have to do. We can't do any more now because we need the second dress, which is arriving tomorrow. Fingers crossed it's not going to be no late at night or anything. Fingers crossed it comes early in the day. Maybe because there was that option where it's like, would you like to add to do your livery? Maybe it will all come together in one day and it will be nice. It will be like Christmas maybe. Hopefully, serious hopefully, when they do deliver, there's no crazies looming outside, because seriously, Sundays is when they love to sneak in. People sneak in people, and these people like to steal packages, so hopefully. And also, I've noticed that there's like this, now this is the same thing on my other dress, and I think there was like a beautiful detail on that other dress that, fixed this. But it just feels like there's something missing here. So that's why I said we'll probably be getting more trim. Because, it just feels like we need something here. Because there's like this little line here, and I just feel like we need something to kind of, it's not noticeable from a distance, but I know it's there. That's me. I know it's there, and obviously you guys know it's there. But I feel like we need to add something in the center. And I do have some ideas, and we'll think about it. We'll think about it, because once we do it this way, we have to do it in another section up top on the bodice to kind of make it match up a bit. So more on that later, and speak about the skirt. Let's see. Also, iron. We need an iron. We've been on the hunt for an iron. We are still hunting for an iron. I have put two types of irons on my wish list. One is an actual iron. One that's very simple. Very simple, because I don't know if you've noticed, but the new irons these days have so many buttons, have so many switches, that it's like, why do I need all these switches? Why do I need all these buttons? I just need 2 buttons, not 4 or 5 of them. I just want a button that basically says, is this, do you want to steam? Push it. Push this for steam. And then a little switch button that has all the little knobs in it. Not one item, and then at the very end, let's say cotton at the very beginning, and then at the very end, it's polyester. I need something that tells me what is cotton, linen, silk, nylon, rayon, acrylic, and polyester, So I found one, and I added it. I forget how much it is, but I know people have been asking, if you'd like an iron, put it on your wish list. So I have done that. I also put another iron on my wish list, and this is known as a craft iron. It's a travel iron. It's about $9. Cheapest iron I've ever seen, and I hope it works, because it's cheap. It's cheap. It's as cheap as a thrift iron, because buying an iron new is expensive. So that craft iron may be helpful. It may not. I don't know. But it's as big as my mug. So it would take a little bit to iron something huge. But if it's dependable, and if it works, and it doesn't melt my fabric, I'll be happy. Because we can take all the pieces apart of the second dress, and we can add the trim, add the details, add much as we can, but there's not much else we can do until we iron these dresses, because as you saw, the dress came wrinkly, it was bunched up in the package, so so we can't, and plus we have one piece of salvage fabric that is good enough to make one whole back piece, but we can't, because if we do it, while it's wrinkly, when we try to unwrinkle it, there's going to be a permanent crease or something in it. I've done that in the past where I've taken a risk and there is a crease. There is a crease that you end up permanently keeping into the fabric as a involuntary decorative bit. So it's like you need to make sure you iron your fabric away of all the wrinkles before you add it to, before you permanently stitch it to inseams, interfacings, etc., etc. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to get a decorative involuntary wrinkle design. You could still iron it and some of the wrinkles may come out, but I guarantee you there's going to be one that's going to be like, oh, you want me to stay because the way you stitch down the fabric piece, no matter what, you made me a decorative piece. But, or worse, you iron it and then what was tight loosens up, so then you have like these little saggy bits. And you don't want that. You do not want saggy bits. Now, so far, one of the hardest parts of this dress. The hardest part of this dress is hopefully we have enough salvage fabric. Now, I'm not too worried about the petticoat. If push comes to shove, we can always remove the trim off the current petticoat piece that we have and remove the trim off of the second dress's petticoat and use both pieces for salvage if we need it for the bodice. And then we can always buy a whole bit of new fabric yardage to make a petticoat, and which would be fine. We can always, if it's a shade off, that's fine. Or if it's the exact color but a different type of fabric texture, as long as the color is matchable, it should be fine. It should be fine. But yeah, that's literally what we're risking. But we can't afford a third dress. We cannot afford a third dress. We already went cheap. What I mean by cheap, you guys, is we didn't have to get another dress in our size. The second dress, we could buy it in any size that we wanted. So we went to they had a used one that they said looks new. Fingers crossed that it is. And it was in a small. And like I said, nothing to worry about because we are literally going to be seam ripping it for parts, for extensions. Now, so other than the petticoat, the other thing is the bodice trim. So the reason why is we have it here. I have unpleated it, but I am not going, hold on, I have to remove all this loose white threading from where the silver trim was, where the silver trim was. But I am not going to iron it just yet. When I do get my iron, I'm not going to iron it right away because, look, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but, oh, here we go. I don't know if it's picking up on camera for you, but it is on me. There are these pleat marks. So I'm keeping these, and then when I get the other dress, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to remove the trim of the bodice, and then I am going to lay it, I'm going to do everything, lay it flat, and then attach it, because this alone is not enough to do one full bodice. We need the other piece to do both sides of the bodice, because we can probably, I think we managed to get, I think I showed it in the video, we managed to get this to cover like maybe one side of the front bodice, and we got maybe about to here on the other side, so we need more trim. And the little bow pieces that we have not touched yet, they still have the silver trim and everything. even if we make an extension piece for those, we would have to pleat them, and when we pleat them, we'll probably get about maybe this much of extension. So still, no matter what, we're going to need that other trim, and it's going to leave us with some excess. Still, we're going to have some excess, but that is fine because we hold on to those until we are 100% sure we don't need them. Speaking of the bow pieces, here's one. And this is what the trim looked like before. As you can see, it is very similar to our black trim. It has like a similar kind of wavy floral design. Maybe not too visible, but it's... Oh, hold on. There we go. It is there. Let me see if I can... See, it is there. It's the same design, just slightly smaller, but still the same design. Sorry, you guys, I needed to get a refill of my coffee. Alright, so also I will probably be doing a video of me changing the color of the jewelry. I've discovered something wonderful. So guys, if ever you are playing with pearls and you can't find the exact color that you want, a fabric dye, a really strong dye, I suggest RIT Dye more, because that version of RIT Dye is acrylic friendly. It will color acrylic. So, and normally some of my pearls are always acrylic pearls. So throw those in, and it won't harm the rhinestone. So if you have something that has like a piece of jewelry and you like the color of the stone, but you don't like the pearls and you want to change the color of the pearls, you can. You just dump it into a dye bath. The pearls will be the only thing that's colored. We're going to be testing that out possibly tomorrow, because just about everything's arriving tomorrow. No, actually everything is arriving tomorrow. Everything that we've ordered is arriving tomorrow. We'll also be ordering some groceries. I guarantee you, front desk is probably going to get overwhelmed, because if all the items do not show up all at once. So the only thing that we have, I think if I mention it, the only thing we have left is we need to get stockings, corset, bows for the shoes, and lashes. And then anything else as we work, because my plan is I want to work on the dress as best as possible. Oh, and an iron. I forgot to mention, we need an iron. We need an iron in order to actually get to the big thing, the assembly bit. So anyway, you guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I apologize that there wasn't any sewing, but there was a little bit of show and tell. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.